Tokyo, my dear friends. This is Daisuke. How are you doing? I hope you are all doing very well. I have to apologize most sincerely because it is still a holiday time here in Japan. It is now May 3rd, 2019, so it's a Friday here, Friday morning. So it's still national holidays, and the national holidays are scheduled to end actually next week, next Monday. So I actually have the weekend and one more day after that. So I'm still in a little bit of a vacation mode, and so I haven't been responding to any comments lately. So I will really try to fix that and maybe address those hopefully this weekend. But I really ask for your forgiveness. I'm so sorry about that. And I want to thank you very much for all of your great comments that you've sent since last week. I really appreciate it, as always. And I think there have been a number of new subscribers that have joined. So if you are a new subscriber to this channel, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. I am really pleased to see you. And I think one of the things that I really try to do, to the best of my ability, of course, is I try to see what kinds of films you're interested in, and hopefully that might get us into a nice discussion about cinema and movies and why it is we all love this thing we call cinema. It's this thing that we all share, our common ground, so to speak. And so I love to hear your thoughts about films, any kinds of films. That will also help me to become inspired and to learn more about new films that I might not have otherwise been, it might not necessarily have been on my radar, so to speak. So if you are new here, please feel free to leave a comment anytime, and I'll definitely try to get back to you as soon as I can. Again, this week, unfortunately, it's just been a little bit of a vacation mode type of week for me, so I really apologize for that. Incidentally, in Japan here, we also had a celebration of the ascension to the throne, the imperial throne of the new emperor, and so we have entered into a kind of new imperial era, so to speak. So I think for a lot of people in the country, there is a kind of celebratory atmosphere in the air. I have a number of thoughts about the imperial system in Japan, actually, but I think that's probably for another time. But in the meantime, of course, just to let you know what I've been doing over these few days, I've been watching not a lot of films, but a number of films. And so I've also been actually just unwinding a bit, because I think I've been a little bit more exhausted than I might have otherwise realized myself. So it's been nice to just get just those extra hours of sleep and wake up and see that the sun is shining and the birds are singing. Where we're from, the birds sing a pretty song, and there's always music in the air. So, let's see. But I have been watching a number of films, and so I just wanted to share with you, not all of them, but just a couple, just to let you know where my headspace is at. The first one is, I was very happy to have been able to get this Japanese DVD box set. It's called Sogo Ishii 1976 to 1983, the DVD box 1, Punk Years. So Sogo Ishii is a Japanese filmmaker whose name I think is now Gakuryu Ishii, so he changed his name. But when he was starting out and many of his films were being made, he was still called Sogo Ishii. Sogo Ishii is one of those exciting Japanese filmmakers. I think my friends over at A Touch of Film and Asian Movie Enthusiast will know much more about Sogo Ishii than I can ever hope to. But be that as it may, oh, and of course, so therefore you should definitely check out A Touch of Film and Asian Movie Enthusiast if you haven't already. They are for my money, they are the premier Asian film experts. They are the first people that I go to when I am trying to find some background film on Asian cinema, and that includes Japanese cinema, by the way, because they know so much more about it than I do. I think Asian Movie Enthusiast, really dive deep into, for instance, the filmography of Takashi Miike. And if you know Miike's films, you know that's no small feat. So please check him out, the Asian Movie Enthusiast. But in any event, I think they'll know a lot about Sogo Ishii more than I do. But this box set has a number of great films. Unfortunately, it is only Japanese. In other words, there are no English language support capabilities on any of these DVDs. And also they are DVDs, so if that's something that is not ideal to your particular viewing system, then unfortunately this is not on a Blu-ray, at least not yet. But there's one film in particular that I really wanted to draw your attention to, and let's just open it up here. They're a little bit out of order because I've been watching them, sifting through them, devouring them. And there's a soundtrack which I haven't opened yet. There's also a film still of a film which I'll just speak to in a moment. And then there's this lovely, lovely book in Japanese, but it's great, very great. I don't want to go into this box set too much in detail, but there's one film in particular that I think deserves a lot of attention. And I hope you can find it, maybe in English, because if you can, it's really, really worth it. It's from my point of view, I think it's perhaps one of the most important Japanese films to have emerged from the 1980s, and one of the great films of Japanese or modern Japanese cinema, in my opinion. It's called Crazy Thunder Road. Crazy Thunder Road. It's one of those, it's about biker gangs and the infighting and sort of the rough and tumble of that lifestyle. And it's really, it's called sometimes a punk film, but it's really a dirty, grungy, just a handmade type of feel. And it is incredible. It's like a jolt of energy that is encapsulated in this particular film, and it's colorful and it's quirky and it's got a kind of almost a Mad Max type of vibe, if you know what I mean. It's just really overflowing with energy and excitement and a real. It feels like it's tearing through the fabric of so-called nice Japanese cinema, so to speak, and that is so welcome, I think. Crazy Thunder Road, is just one of those films that I wish many people could see and just revel in and just absorb. It's certainly a handmade type of film, and so there's a lot of a patchwork quality to the editing, and it might seem a little bit off in terms of the way the sound is mixed in, etc. But I think that's part of its charm and part of its aesthetic philosophy. And Ishii's films, especially his early films, have that real homemade quality to them. A lot of them were shot, not this film, but some of his other earlier works were shot on 8mm, and so it's really incredible. So it has that homemade feel. It's sort of like early John Waters works, except the subject matter is a little bit different. And but what I love about this particular film is that it's so raw, and it's coming from such a genuine place of energy and vitality that I think is so needed, and it feels like a real jolt of energy. So Crazy Thunder Road. Okay, so Crazy Thunder Road. This is from 1980, directed by Sogo Ishii. I'm not sure as to its availability with English support or any other language support. I do have this DVD, which is only Japanese. I do have actually I have 2 other copies of this on different releases. I have a Blu-ray and I have another DVD actually. So I have 3 versions of this same film. So, but again, I don't know what the English language support release history is. So please check it out. Maybe do a Google search, or maybe ask A Touch of Film or Asian Movie Enthusiast. I'm sure they might have some information about that. But again, Sogo Ishii is a filmmaker that I hope a lot of people can watch. So a lot of people, not a lot, but some people have asked me over the course of these months, Daisuke, what are some Japanese filmmakers that you would recommend? And I've held off on that question for a while because I think it's such a difficult question to answer. But if I were to answer in piecemeal, and I were to answer, sort of bit by bit, I would say as part of that overall answer, I'd say one of the filmmakers one should watch, definitely, for sure, is Sogo Ishii. Sogo Ishii is one filmmaker that you really should know if you don't already. Yeah. And there's actually another box that I just got, which is here. I've seen all but one of the films that are in this box anyway. So this is the box set 2. This was box set 1, so this is box set 2. So this box set 1 was called Punk Years. This is box set 2, Psychedelic Years. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Maybe one of these days I will try to delve deeper into the film works of Sogo Ishii, but we shall see. So that's that. And yes. And one other thing, I was feeling a little bit tired, as I said, so I wanted to return perhaps to a film in the Criterion Collection. And one filmmaker that I haven't spoken about, but is one that, of course, I have a lot of interest in, is Wes Anderson. And so I just wanted to put in Fantastic Mr. Fox, which I've seen not many times, but maybe twice before on this. This is the dual format edition, actually. I love this film. I think it's so charming, and it's such a whimsical ride. There's a real heart to it. And what I love is it's the focus on the family, and the way that the family unit seems to overcome any sort of idiosyncratic elements that from an outsider perspective might seem odd or out of place. I just love that focus on the family unit here in Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's so heartwarming to me. I do have an affection for the films of Wes Anderson. Granted, I'm not a Wes Anderson expert, and I don't claim to know the ins and outs of every single facet of Wes Anderson's cinematic universe, so to speak. So I don't think that I know enough about him to be able to comment with much impact. But I think I do like the films that I've seen by him. I must admit, though, that I did see Isle of Dogs, the Wes Anderson film that was released, I think, a year or so ago. Maybe it was last year, I think. Yeah, it was 2018. So Isle of Dogs. I must admit that I was a little bit disappointed with that film in terms of its approach. I don't want to get too much into it now, but I do have some reservations about that particular film. And I've tried to see it twice, and I think the second time my opinion didn't change. And I was trying to actually appreciate it more, because I know a lot of people in the film fan communities that I'm a part of. I know a lot of people were fans of that film, and so I don't want to take that away from anyone. If you really like the film, I think that's great, and it's not my place to take that away. It's just my own personal feeling, which is that it was a little bit lacking in certain areas. But who knows? Maybe I'll talk about that some other time if you're interested. And I think that's it. So, in any event, Fantastic Mr. Fox was a nice film for me to, how should I put it, to unwind and relax, but also to have fun and to get into the rhythms and the cadences of Wes Anderson's work, which I think are so refreshing, quite illuminating, very charming, quirky, and I mean that in a positive way. Just a marvelous aesthetic that he has built over the course of his career. So, Wes Anderson, Fantastic Mr. Fox. This is spine number 700, by the way, of the Criterion Collection. And incidentally, we are almost at spine number 1000 of Criterion's physical media releases. And so I am waiting with great anticipation as to what Criterion might have in store for us, if anything, for its Spine 1000 release. I think I made a video about this last year, about Spine 1000 possibilities, but I think the possibilities are endless, and there are more possibilities than one might initially realize. I think I might have mentioned Citizen Kane, which I think is the big one. I think it's the one that I hear most in the film circles, and for good reason, because it's a landmark film for many reasons. It's one of those films that I think I've grown to love more over time. When I first saw it in university, I thought it was a good film, but on an academic level, I never found anything passionate to love about the film. But as I've grown older, I think there's a lot of passion and sadness and a real, just a human. But it touches the heart in a way that I was not expecting. So because it's got such a grand reputation about it, but it really is a very intimate and quite a devastating dramatic portrayal, a true work of art. But anyway, so Spine 1000. So Citizen Kane, I think, is a top contender. Although it would be nice. It would be nice to see something. I mean, I don't know. Pink Flamingos at Spine 1000. I think that would be great. Or, I know that people on the Criterion Channel subscribers are talking about the Godzilla films that are available there. So perhaps a Godzilla box set for Spine 1000. I mean, they did a box set for Zatoichi. I don't see why they couldn't do a box set for Godzilla. Now, that would be fantastic, absolutely fantastic. Or they could do, what could they do? The Devils, Ken Russell's The Devils at Spine 1000. I think someone had mentioned it might be better to do something, maybe something to do with the Sixes or something. But I think Spine 1000 for The Devils, I think, is a real profound statement, because that is one of those films that I think, I don't want to say anything except if I were ever to make a top 10 favorite films list ever, I could dare say that The Devils could make that list. Yes. But anyway, Spine 1000, it's coming close. So do you have any ideas as to what might be Spine 1000? If you do, I'd love to hear about them and to get your comment. I think, as I said, the sky's the limit as far as the potential for Spine 1000 goes. And who knows, maybe Criterion's not going to do anything. Maybe it's just going to be a so-called quote-unquote regular release. Still, that's fine. I think even a regular release by Criterion is better than releases from most other labels. And so kudos to Criterion. In any event, though, I really think that they are planning something, and the timing is about right too. Around that time of year, around the middle or latter half of the year, Criterion tends to release these big releases, and so Spine 1000 falls right around that sweet spot. So I can't wait. This announcement should be coming soon, given the currency of the spine number release announcements of late. So let's keep our fingers crossed and our ears close to the road and see what Criterion has in store for us, my friends. In the meantime, of course, if you have any thoughts or comments, please let me know at any time. And I'd love to hear what you have to say. As always, you guys are just fantastic with your insights and your thoughts and guesses. Much more ahead of the game than I am. So it's my way of trying to learn about stuff from you. So please feel free to leave a comment below anytime. Okay, my friends, that's it. So again, I apologize for not responding to comments, but I will try to do so in the coming days and certainly by next week. So in the meantime, my friends, please be happy and healthy and well. And please, I hope there is a lot of sunshine where you are, both in real terms and metaphorically speaking. And I hope, of course, you are watching a lot of great, great movies. Until we meet again, my friends, cheers.